Hello, Jordan.
Uh,
Welcome to Ganap TV.
Hello, John. Hello, Vince. Thank you guys for having me. How are you?
Hi, we missed you. We missed you. After, I think 2 months ago, we have Mr. Manhunt International here.
Yes.
Do you miss the Philippines?
I miss the Philippines. I even have my Manila shirt on right now. So,
Wow. Is that your
So
first
how are
time?
you doing?
First time in Manila? Is that your first time?
no, I had traveled to Manila before with one of my friends, Josh, who
Mm-hmm.
was previous Manhunt Guam as well. We had gone there together in 2019, and he was the first one to introduce me to it. He also lives in Guam now, but he and his family were originally from the Philippines, and
Wow.
so yeah, and so that was there. As far as how it is in Guam today, I think I'm kind of like everybody else, and kind of on the stay-at-home orders. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice to be able to finally connect with some people over the small screen, which is probably the best way to stay connected right now, given the
Yeah.
circumstance.
We are very lucky because of the technology. Yeah.
Yes.
That connects people around the world.
So,
Okay. So, how's the situation now in Guam?
so in Guam, we've been very fortunate because right away, we didn't get a case as soon as a case of COVID-19 as soon as many other countries did. It came here a little bit. The first confirmed cases were here a little bit later, so we
Mm-hmm.
had a little bit of time to prepare. And in the last couple weeks, we've had very low numbers where we've had multiple days with zero new confirmed cases, and other days with merely one. So we've actually made some reasonable headway in the fight against the coronavirus and keeping our numbers low. So it's frustrating for everybody, but I also think a lot of people have been participating and contributing to really the staying at home and the
Mm-hmm.
the distancing that helps keep the numbers really low.
Mm.
Okay. How would you like to say hi to your friends in the Philippines and all over the world? Because we are, we're, everyone now is watching us all over the world because we have
So
friends
I
in
know I really
all places.
I'm really excited that people are watching this, and I want to say hi to everybody. It's like in the middle of all this, it's really frustrating because I got done with Manhunt and I got back to Guam, and I was already trying to figure out how to get back to the Philippines because I had left a number of things there. I still need to pick up my costume from Manhunt and bring it back to Guam and things like that. So wanted to go back, see the friends I had made too, and work on some other things. But I get back to Guam, and a couple weeks later, 3 weeks later, everything goes into shutdown mode. And so Guam used to have uh, multiple flights a day going
Mm-hmm.
to and from Manila, and because Manila and Tokyo are our two closest international destinations that are major hubs. And so between Manila between Manila and Guam, there was a lot of flights. There is no flight now from Guam
Mm-hmm.
to Manila.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
can't, even if I wanted to try and go and quarantine and do all of these things, I can't. And so it's really nice to like be able to connect with all of the people that I wanted to like go back and see and meet. And so I'm really happy that everyone who's on this show can join us.
Yeah. By the
Yeah.
way,
We
Jordan, I
we just
really love your national costume during the Manhunt pageant. I love it.
Oh, I loved that costume, and no offense to anyone else, because I think there were a lot of great costumes, but Rezan Montero, who made my costume, I have nothing but respect for, and I, I, I still personally and biasly rate my costume as one of the best ones up there. So it actually represents a bird that's indigenous to Guam, the kingfisher bird,
Mm-hmm.
that has been that is now extinct from the wild due to the introduction of invasive species and other things. But there are about 10 of them located in Guam. And so the colors and the meaning to me was really, really important. And I thought Raisin did a great job on putting that together.
I just want to ask, are you really born in Guam? Are you really from Guam? Or you just migrated?
I migrated to Guam. So I'm not originally from Guam. I was born in the mainland United States and then had been traveling around for a while. So I was actually born in St. Louis, Missouri. And then since graduating law school, I've lived a number of places, and Guam is the place that I have lived the longest since graduating law school, and there's no turning back. Like, I'm not sorry for a day that I spend here. So
okay, do you think Guam is going to be your second home?
I think Guam will always be a first home of sorts. In a place, not saying that I'm always going to live here. I can see myself going elsewhere, even trying to live in the Philippines or other places in the United States for a while, because as much as I love Guam, there's part of me that still loves the city life that you just don't get in Guam. And so I can see myself leaving, but I never see myself getting completely out of Guam. It'll be one of those places that I know that I'll just keep coming back to. So.
Yeah. I just want to tell you that I have many relatives in Guam.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah. Because Guam and Philippines are almost alike, same climate,
tropical country.
It was actually really funny. The first time that I had visited the Philippines, it was really enlightening, because when I moved to Guam, there's a lot that's very similar to the United States in some ways, because the United States military has moved in a lot of people and infrastructure. But there are certain things in how houses are built and people drive and other things that were a little bit peculiar. After I visited the Philippines, some of those things made sense. Like I understood why people's houses were built a particular way, why their fences were there, how they drove. And so it was actually like really enjoyable to kind of learn a little bit about that the first time I went to the Philippines.
I have a question, Jordan. What is the best thing about, in Guam?
First of all, the one thing I will always tout as the best part about Guam is its people. It is one of the most hospitable places, and people are always welcoming. And I think that's part of what's made our current circumstances really trying in Guam, is because people are always getting together. Families are big, and people enjoy spending time together. Most of my family lives in the mainland United States still, but there are so many families. I have so many friends here that have welcomed me into their families as though nothing is different, and I can just go and spend time and enjoy it. And that's not even just unique to me. They welcome people in. There's this culture of hospitality and humility and just genuine open arms. And so it's really been tough for all of us to really embrace this staying at home and distancing, because people here like sharing and sharing their culture, sharing their things, and really welcoming people. And so that's number one, the highlight and best part of Guam. I think if we're going to talk outside of the people, the nature and the natural beauty here, and you get to see it every morning when the sun rises and every evening when the sun sets. I couldn't paint a picture as good as the sky gets painted at night. It's not like it comes and goes. It is every night that you get to see something wonderful. And it's really a unique experience to live in a place like this where it's just that beautiful all the time. There are some other islands that I've been to that have similarities and in that they're beautiful all the time. But I also feel like every single island and place like this that has that immense amount of natural beauty that's referred to as a paradise, while there's some similarities, they all have their unique flavor and look that when you look out, you know that this is Guam.
Wow, that is so exciting, John. John, can we travel to Guam?
Sure.
Okay.
Anyway, Jordan, I just want to ask, like, how are you coping up now with the situation since you are locked down in your house? So, what do you do inside your house to keep you busy? Um,
So I'm very fortunate in some ways, and also very blessed that I still get to keep working from home. I work. I'm a lawyer for the government, and so the government has many services that it still needs to provide during these times, and work that needs to get done. And I'm very, very, very fortunate that a lot of my work can be done from home, and during the week, I'm still putting in the time to move things along and get the work done. So that takes up a bulk of my day. And then I do have some neighbors that that in close contact with, that I'm able to go and get some physical activity with, and they have some equipment as well that we can use. And so we're always near each other. So it's one of those families that's adopted me in like their own, and we've basically been able to ride out a lot of this quarantine together. So I have zero complaints as far as that goes. It's one of those families that's just welcomed me in, and so it's made it much more tolerable in staying at home. I'm naturally a very social person myself too, and so I like being home at the end of the day by myself and settling down. But during the day, I really like being out there and being with people, and so it has been trying. But I think things like this and being able to call my family in the morning has been very helpful as well. I'm also very fortunate that in Guam we haven't been quite as strict as some other cities, because I have a friend from law school that lives in New York City who, for the first 3 weeks, didn't ever leave her apartment for anything. The building's gym was closed, all of those things. So she was stuck inside in her small apartment for 3 weeks before she could even get out to like go to a grocery store. But she's also done something very unique. She's gotten a Zoom group together to do yoga every morning. And so we do a 20 or 30-minute yoga session for me to start the day, and for her and some of the other friends in the mainland to end the day. And so it's really nice because we have people from California, New York, Guam, Florida, all joining into this little session, and we would talk for a few minutes and then either start our day or end our day really well. So finding a little bit of a routine has helped break this up as well.
Yeah.
So you didn't experience so much isolation because you're still active and doing things, and you can still go to your neighbors and
working.
Yeah.
Meet them as well.
I don't want to say I haven't experienced isolation, because there are days that I do feel incredibly lonely. But I think finding the routine and finding a small group of people that you're already in close quarters with is very helpful in breaking up that isolation. Just seeing one group of friends and neighbors periodically is very helpful to breaking it up. But it's also still very different from the way life was being lived before, where I got to see all of my friends on a regular basis. I got to go to the gym and see other people and hang out, talk to people. Now most of my interactions are with a small group of people, and a family, and then whatever I get to do for work meetings on Zoom or my yoga sessions, those types of things. And so it is very condensed and isolating still. So I don't want to downplay the difficulty of this for me, but I also want to talk about the blessings I've been given in helping break up a lot of that isolation and being able to work through it.
Yeah. And what's the realization that you have seen during this time?
Something that I've learned through this situation, I think that one of the best things has been giving me time to slow down and change my routine a little bit. Because for the last year, I've been in this really intense go between my commitment to fitness, between my full-time job, and then working on and preparing for a pageant. I haven't had much downtime. I had actually competed in the local pageant in Guam in 2018 as well as 2019. And then I had also participated in a separate event called International Presentation of Performers in Los Angeles last July, where I had won some awards as well. That really was a modeling and talent showcase and training, and they had some training sessions there too. And so since the fall of 2018, I've been on this go. You know, worry about how you look, worry about what you're eating, make sure you're going to the gym, make sure you're getting your work done. And so this has been like, you know, Manhunt was over and I was still kind of in that go mindset. But then this just kind of put a giant brake on everything. And it's been kind of, it's humbling in a lot of ways, because I'm a very, I enjoy the constant motion and the improvement, but at the same time, it's allowed me to reflect on what's really important and given me some time to start thinking about what my future plans might be. I haven't made any decisions yet, so I don't have anything on that, but it's given me a lot of time to reflect on all of the different things I've been thinking about and really start focusing on some of those ideas.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, Benj, do you have any question?
Yeah, let's go back to the Manhunt pageant. Who encouraged you to join the Manhunt pageant?
So the first year that I had done the Mr. Guam pageant here on island was in 2018, and I had made it into the top group of participants, but I fell just short of the top 5, which is the group of winners that they select people to go to various international pageants from. The Mr. Guam organization sends individuals to Manhunt, Mr. International, Man of the World, and a few other pageants. So they choose from the top 5 winners for that. So I had a little frustrations in 2018 because I felt I had done really well, but just fell a little bit short. And so I spent a year really working on it, and then I signed up in 2018 on a whim. I saw a posting about it. I'm like, oh, that looks like something fun to distract me for a little while. Silly me always forgets, though, that once I sign up for something, fun instantly becomes, how do I win? And so the competitive side of me just kicks in. No matter how much I just think I can do something for fun, the competitive side kicks in. And so I decided, after working with some people here in Guam for a year on various projects and modeling and training and other things, to try again. And this year I made it into the top 5. I'd come in second runner-up, and was very fortunate to be selected from that group of 5 to be the one to represent Guam at Manhunt. So that's really what happened. I think the second time around in 2019, though, part of what encouraged me was Josh Soto, who I met through the 2018 pageant, had gone to Manhunt in 2018. He and I became really good friends, and he really kind of encouraged me and pushed me to do the pageant again in 2019. And so I did, and that's, the rest is history.
Yeah. And then, do you have any plans again to join in another pageant?
I don't necessarily have any present plans to join. I am not opposed to joining another pageant, but I fell a little short at Manhunt of what I was hoping for. But it's also, I say that, but also at the same time, when you're up there on stage with 36 of the top talent in the world, somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. Even if I think I should win, I am so happy still losing to people that are that good. And it's, as frustrating as loss can be, loss is a lot easier when you know that you're really competing with top talent. And so, because it just makes it, even the smallest little thing can make a difference. And so I think if I were to do another pageant, I would really focus on trying to even further work on the smallest of details and really get, really put myself through an even bigger pressure cooker. I put myself through quite a bit. I had gotten my, for Manhunt, I dropped my body fat percentage and was really, really working hard for that. But it's also just, there's a social and I say political side to it as well, where you need to mingle. And I think I would want to put in a little more effort into those things, because I think one of the difficulties in coming from Guam, because our population's only about 160,000 people or so, you don't have the same amount of resources as some of the big countries do to really get the support to do a full, I use a basketball analogy, you don't get to do a full court press like some of the other countries. But I also think that, looking at myself and looking at the other guys that I've done the pageants with and the other winners, and even looking at the women that have competed here in their pageants, Guam has some great talent. And I think that once we really start focusing on, if we can get a lot of focus here on really promoting that talent in a very specific way, I think people will start seeing Guam a little bit more. Guam actually has had one female major pageant title holder back in, I believe it was the 1980s. Her name was Kimberly Santos. She was actually first runner-up for Miss World, but then Germany had won that year, and I think it was 2 days after the pageant, resigned from her position as Miss World, and so then Guam had, for pretty much the entire year, one major pageant title. And for a small country, even having one victory like that is a really big deal. There are a lot of countries that have competed for years and don't have a single win. And so I think that if we can try and focus on promoting our talent like we are capable of doing, because the people here are committed. As welcoming as they are, they're going to back you up as well. And so I think if we can really spend some time and effort, we can really get our talent ahead. Because I, like any model, I have a very high opinion of myself as it comes to talent, but I also look around and I see all of the other people here that have represented Guam very well at pageants and other events, whether it's sporting events or academically throughout the world. And Guam has a lot to offer. It's just, it's kind of like finding a little diamond, in a giant haystack, because you get, when you're a small country, you sometimes just get drowned out by the large crowds.
Yeah. But we could say, John, that Jordan is one of the stand out during the Manhunt. One of our favorite.
Because I like his long hair.
Yes.
I know I got a few weeks into this stay-at-home isolation / quarantine, and I started thinking about cutting my hair, and then I sat around and I go, no, do not make any rash decisions during quarantine. If you want to cut your hair, wait until this is all over, and then you can make a normal decision about it.
That's why.
Yeah, because you're the only one who carries the long hair there, right?
Yes, that's why John asked me if you're still in the Philippines, maybe we can have a photo shoot.
Yeah. So no, once this is over, don't worry. I'll be coming back to the Philippines for a visit, and we can get together and do some photos.
Yeah.
Yes. So it seems that you really like joining competition. What gives you the confidence to join?
I think going back to, I'll answer this with furthering my answer to the previous question, I think part of the reason I joined initially is being a lawyer and having to have gone to court over the years. You learn a certain confidence of being in front of people. But most of what you get out of a lawyer, it comes through the words that they say. But a pageant teaches you, and working through a pageant teaches you how to communicate to somebody with no words in a way. Because at Manhunt, for example, there was no question and answer. And even the press conference that they had, only about five or six individuals actually got time to speak. So the bulk of my communicating in a pageant, and especially at Manhunt, comes through first impressions and the few moments that you're on stage in front of people. And so I wanted to translate the confidence that I have in my education and other things like that into really trying to become what I would call, I don't want to say become, but I wanted to work on having the full package, being able to wow people with my words, but also being able to wow them before I even open my mouth, because then I can just work on commanding attention from start to finish. So I know that if I can go up in front of a judge and argue motions that are worth millions of dollars for a client, getting on stage for a few minutes and showing off my abs should be no big deal. It's terrifying to put yourself out there in a way and be judged, but I also remember that everybody else that's up there is in some way, maybe not the same level and maybe doesn't have the exact same insecurities, but everybody up there has a certain amount of self-doubt of their own that they're trying to overcome, because nobody goes in there just knowing that they're going to win and be the best. You have certain levels of preparation that prepare you for that, but nobody goes in there with 100% confidence that it's all going to be okay. What happens if you trip? What happens if you fall? What happens if there's a wardrobe malfunction? There are a whole lot of things that can go wrong. And so just being able to accept the fact that everybody else is in the same place, and it's really a process of becoming comfortable with myself. It's not about having the confidence to do it, but it's about gaining confidence while you do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's so important. It's not just about the physics, but it's also the brain, right? Your education that brought you also confidence, and also your experience in life, right? It's not just about the abs.
Not just about the abs.
It's not just about the abs.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of my, if I had to have one of my disappointments with Manhunt, is how little I actually got to interact with some of the people judging and the media and other things, because all they're seeing is my face and my abs and things like that. And I want to project to them in a way with confidence and communication, because that's part of what I'm there for, is to learn how to do that. But I also know that at the end of the day, me and a whole bunch of other contestants, I was very fortunate, for example, to have Trinidad and Tobago as my roommate, Rayon Elder, and he's a doctor in his home country. And so there are a whole bunch of us there that have a lot to offer just beyond the outside. And I think that our outside is important because it's a reflection of the time and work and dedication that we have to ourselves to get ourselves that way. But part of what it takes to get there is the intelligence, the ability to connect with other people and learn from other people. And when going to law school is basically a 3-year program past a bachelor's that in the United States teaches you how to communicate and with your words. And so it's like when there are opportunities and I don't get to share my words, it's always just like a little bit of a knife to a heart, because that's my training, and in some ways my passion is connecting and communicating with other people. But it's also, when I don't get to do that and I have to just rely on the impressions, it's also a nice reminder that sometimes people don't want to hear you talk.
Yeah,
now you've shown to us your confidence because you already have a total package, like your education, your whole personality.
You know, when I'm in competition mode, I don't think people realize all of the things that go into looking very nice for photos and being on stage. It comes down to diet. It comes down to there's grooming. You know, one of the things people don't like talking about, but is actually a really important part of preparation for photos and modeling is body hair removal.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's this taboo subject because everybody knows that everybody does it, but nobody really likes to talk about it. And I've been sitting here in quarantine and I'm like, not doing any photo shoots anytime soon. So there's been like zero grooming as far as that goes. And I was eating carbs earlier today. I was eating breakfast. So if you want to see my abs, check out the photo.
Ben, we're a loser. We cannot take a pic of his abs in the show.
Anyway, I'll have the photos.
I'm sorry, viewers. You cannot take a pic of Jordan today.
I have an even better idea. What you should do is flash, one of the photos you should flash up is of my abs while I am wearing the John Guarnis designed swimwear.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm asking you to do that to show your abs because of the quarantine period. So I believe that because of the exercises you're doing, you still retain the abs there
The
in
perfect
your
body.
body.
Oh, I still have the body, but like, we got a bunch of chest hair going on right
now.
Anyway, we really have fun with you, chatting with you, Jordan. So I think you just give our viewers your message, inspiration message to our viewers.
I think the inspirational message is being from the United States, especially Guam, which has not been completely free for the vast majority of recent history. Freedom is a long, hard-fought battle, and I think we see right now when there is a danger to us, sometimes that freedom comes and goes. And so if we look to being a part of something bigger than ourselves, it'll get us through this. It's not always going to be fun, and it's not always going to be easy, but we're really in this together because our goal as people, and part of what drives us to do what we do, is because we have the freedom to do it. And if we just let something like this get in our way and say, oh no, we're not going to face this challenge, we're not going to preserve our freedoms for the long term. We're going to slowly lose it. We're not going to be paying attention, because freedom comes when we engage with other people and we care about other people, and we want to promote ourselves because that's our selfish interests. But real freedom and real community comes from building other people up and being a part of something bigger than ourselves. And right now is one of those moments in which we have to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, because this is about preserving freedom for future generations. And so we can feel however we want to about our governments and the measures that they're taking. We can fight them, we can support them, but at the end of the day, we should all have one goal, and that's tackling things like this together. And we might not always agree on how to do that, but if we work together and we follow some of the measures of the authorities that we've put in place for ourselves in many places, then we will win. we will win, and we'll have another day in which we can get up, we can do things like Manhunt. But right now, the world and our community is asking us to take a little bit of a pause, to take a big deep breath and go, it's okay. We do all of these things because we love our freedom, but our freedom comes because we work together. And so I want to say thank you to everybody who's really working on this and being a part of something bigger than themselves, because that's how we can move the next generation.
And the winner is Jordan from Guam.
Wow.
Wow, I
Very
really
well
love
said.
it. I really love. I learned from your message that truly we have given so much freedom, and this situation that we are into is giving also the freedom for us to support those who are really, for the future generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if, for example, if I got this terrible disease, it would be very awful. But I also am just as concerned about the fact that if I got this, I might pass it on to other people, and that is something that really would bother me even more than just getting sick myself, would be causing harm to somebody else. And so really understanding that it's not just you involved in the fight against this disease, and this virus, it's other people. We can really, embrace other people and work with them. And it's not going to be easy, but we will win. Tomorrow will be a brighter day, and every day after that will be brighter. It's just going to be dark for a little while. But I will end on this too, because I talk about darkness here, right? We shouldn't be afraid of the dark either, because in the dark, the light becomes a lot easier to see. And so if we just look around for the light in this situation, we will have brightness that we've never seen before.
This is so enlightening. It's really enlightening, and I think the viewers of Ganap TV will really learn a lot
From Jordan.
and we're really fortunate that you have with us in our show.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
And thank you guys. It's a wonderful thing that you guys have just taken this event and really put something together and offered another platform for a lot of us to share who we are, what we do, and why we care. And as much as I can sit here and you say you've learned some lessons, I couldn't share any of this with the viewers or you if you hadn't put together this great platform. Yeah. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Jordan, for gracing our show today. And of course, we are looking forward to see you here in Manila soon.
Yes, once this is all over, I'm sure I'll be back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Jordan.
you guys. Bye, Ben. Bye, John.
Have a nice day.
Catch 'em all.